What's up, Trek Nation? Welcome back. Welcome back to After the Snap. Y'all know what it is. I'm your host, Tasha Pierce. Today, we're going to talk and break down the last episode that we just saw of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. We usually do this here show on Sundays, but I felt like we needed a do-over for this weekend. This weekend was a lot of bad news here in the States. So I decompressed. I feel a little bit better today, but there's something that we just gonna have to do something here about the situation of violence that we have, and it's just swaths of violence across the country. And then we get the big ones where multiple people are shot in one incident. It's a terrible thing, and this is not the day to talk about it, except for to say I cannot wait until we get to this Star Trek future. Hey there, Dreamwalker! I can't wait till we get to the Star Trek future. Dreamwalker, can you give me an idea of what my audio sounds like? Am I sounding okay, or do I need to make some type of changes? Let me know. Let me know. Um, but yeah, if we need to speed up first contact, and let's pray that we get the Vulcans and not the Klingons, right? We do not want the Klingons to make first contact before the Vulcans. Good, thanks so much, sir. I appreciate it. So yeah, um maybe we'll look up and get the Vulcans, even though we had problems in Enterprise. When you really think about it, they were like, why do y'all keep rubbing in our face that you guys made first contact with us? Why do you keep doing that? When I'll take that. I'll take it over what we've got going on now. And speaking of which, I think that I found an excerpt of the first episode of Strange New Worlds that is aptly titled Strange New Worlds. I think that I have found an excerpt that answers the question of whether or not the eugenics war, the Civil War, and World War III are all the same thing. I'm going to be playing those for you, those little clips that I put together for you. And then we're going to find out what you guys are watching before we start breaking down Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So before we go into that, and I know I've got two people in my audience. That's a whole whopping two, right? um, if you guys have not yet done so, can you please hit the subscribe button and the like button on this video? It will help to push it out to more people, help it to be more discoverable. Okay, so with all that being said, let me know, guys, what your feelings were over the weekend. How badly did you feel? While I get together our next little video presentation, I'm going to show you guys of an excerpt from Strange New Worlds. Again, that excerpt is going to, I hope, definitively answer the question of whether or not these three wars were all pretty much the same war. I think one war led into the others. So, with that being said, let's take a look at what we got here. Oh, that didn't go. That didn't go. Oh, you know what? It's not going to play like that. Let me try it a different way. I just remembered. Just remembered. It's not going to play that way. Tasha, you suck. Mm. Okay. Now I might be able to play it. Guys, ready? Let's go.
Our conflict also started with a fighter dreams. We called it the Second Civil War, then the Eugenics War, finally, just World War III.
Okay. I don't know. Hopefully you caught that. What he said was we had a war. It was called the Civil War, and then we called it the Eugenics War, and finally World War III. But if you need a little bit more, if you want to hear what he said next, he said what began as an eruption in one nation ended up destroying pretty much the planet. But I'm going to play that clip for you as well.
Eruption in one nation ended in the eradication of 600,000 species of animals and plants and 30% of Earth's population.
So, again, I'm hoping that you guys were able to catch that. I think that answers the question. I think that he did say that these 3 wars all started with a civil war in the United States, the Second Civil War, and that led into the Eugenics War, which we saw a peak of how that might get started at the end of Star Trek Picard. And then it moved into World War III, which we saw glimpses of that in other Star Trek entries and other Star Trek series. So if you feel differently or if you think something different, please let me know down in the comments, because I want to make sure that I've got the proper understanding of this as well. Yeah, Dreamwalker, that's not something I look forward to either. I do not look forward to 30% of the Earth's population unless it's a 30% that's keeping up a lot of trouble. So hopefully I don't put myself in that bag. But if it's a 30% of the people who are causing the other 70% problems, then I'm fine. And Dreamwalker is agreeing with me that he thinks I got the right understanding. I hope, I hope that we're understanding that correctly, because it seemed really cut and dry until other people started telling me that's not what he said. So hopefully, oops, I ain't trying to start it back. Hopefully that does definitively answer the question. Now, I'm going to ease up out of the slides for just a second. We talk about every week, we talk about what we're watching. So if you're watching something special, spectacular, something that you think that everybody else should watch, or stuff that you think that we should steer clear from, I am ready to hear about it. So with all that being said, what you watching? Yeah, what you watching? I'm gonna tell you what I've been watching, and I've been watching a lot because I've been a bumpkin for some time. I'm coming back to normal, but I have been a bumpkin for some months, or I mean, for some weeks. So I've been doing an awful lot of watching, but not an awful lot of creating. I hope to change that. Um, I watched recently Candy on Hulu, and that is the story of Candy Montgomery. It's a true crime type story. Uh, Candy Montgomery is played by Jessica Biel, and she and the other 80s housewives, it was kind of like a whole Stepford Wives, Desperate Housewives type situation that turned deadly. And I enjoyed the series. It's 5 episodes. It played over 5 days on Hulu, and I thought they did an outstanding job of bringing this character and that situation to life, even though it's a horrible story and the outcome might not be all that agreeable to everybody. It's still, I think they brought the situation as it is to life well. Dreamwalker said he hasn't been watching all that much, except for we have been watching the Star Trek Strange New Worlds. I can't wait to get into that part of the conversation. I also watched Firestarter on Peacock this weekend. I'm gonna tell you, I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. Skip it. Um, It came out at the theaters and on Peacock, same day and date. I watched it on Peacock, and I didn't watch it all. I watched the first 40 some minutes of it. It's not good. It's a bad adaptation, and it's a shame because the little girl, and I forgot her name, who was playing Charlie, she is an outstanding little actress, and they had the Zac Efron was playing her dad, which how can you go wrong with Zac Efron? But Zac Efron needs to pick better roles because he's an outstanding actor. He just gets some roles that are just not that great. So those are the things. Let me think. Was there anything else I watched? I was watching a show called The Feed. It was a 2019 series, a British series on what is the name of that? On Amazon Prime Video. I'm liking The Feed. So that's it. Those are the things that I'm watching. Hey, if you don't, if you Dreamwalker says he's got a free 3-month trial for Peacock Premium and it's almost over and he barely ever used it. I'm trying to think. What were some of the things that I watched on Peacock were La Brea, which is meh, it's okay. I watched Bel Air, which I thought that was a pretty good series. What was the other thing? Firestarter is there, and that's if you want to give that a chance, it's there. Uh, can't think of any other series that I would recommend that I've watched on Peacock, but they do. They have some things on there that they don't have anywhere else. I say look through the menu, and if you find something you like, try it out. It was a free trial, right? So with all that being said, we've gotten out of the way what we're watching. Now, just know that we are going to have spoilers for Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Keep in mind that there are spoilers. And if you missed me from the beginning talking about Pike and what he said in episode 1, Strange New Worlds, that makes me feel like the eugenics war, the Civil War, and World War III are all of the same thing. I can play it again after we talk about Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Remind me. It's there. It's not exactly a stellar review. Nope, it's not. But I'm being honest. Being honest with you, Dreamwalker, is there. Oh gosh. And I can't think of anything else that I'm really like just watching on Peacock. Um, and if I find something, well, your free trial is going to be over if I find something. I'll still try to remind you if there's something that I find, but it's there. Okay, we're going back to our slides, and we are going to talk about. Let me see. Stop sharing this one. We're going to talk about episode 2 of Star Trek Strange New World. Clarence, you're here. Clarence is loving Outer Range. I got to write it down. I got wrapped up in the feed when I was looking for Outer Range, and I need to find that one. I don't know how that happened. I just started scrolling through Amazon Originals, and the feed popped up before Outer Range, and I was like, I gotta watch this. Clarence, did you see what I was talking about as far as Pike and his uh what he was saying about the Civil War, eugenics war, and World War III? If not, let me know so we can go back over it real quick. But until I hear from Clarence, we're gonna talk a little bit about Star Trek Strange New Worlds episode 2, which is called Children of the Comet. It is written, let me see, is this a director? This one is directed by Maja Vrvilo. Okay. And then it's uh written by Henry Alonso Myers and Sarah Tarkoff. These people that are doing this writing and this directing are knocking it out of the park. So I guess I'm showing my hand. This one came out on my brother's birthday, May 12th. And it started with Cadet Nyota Uhura. She was invited to the captain's quarters for a meal. Right. See, what I'm thinking that they were saying, Clarence is so Clarence is saying, I wonder if we'll ever get a complete explanation on that. Picard mentions that the history is bad for that period. Yeah, he ought, but I think the explanation is that all of them just led into the other. So it's like the eugenics, I mean, the Civil War started in the U.S., and I believe we can assume that the Civil War. The Civil War started in the U.S., and I think we can assume that after that, the eugenics war started, and that was courtesy of Adam Soong, and then the rest of the world got involved, leading it into World War III. Yeah, there are plenty of events from Earth's history that we squish together as being the same. And I think, Clarence, what I think was happening with Khan is that what is his name? Adam Soong had presented this Khan project to people for funding in the 90s. And they didn't fund it, and they kept telling him how he's effed up, some of the things that he did to soldiers in the past. In fact, those very soldiers that he called up to help him take down Picard and his crew, those were people that he had experimented on in the past. So he never got into this Khan project because he didn't have the backing and the funding, but because he's been doing these illicit kind of experiments from his home laboratory, I guess, he's going to start working on that Khan situation from his home, even though he started this thing in the 90s, the I guess what you say, the prototype, or the the pitch. That's what it is. He started the pitch in the 90s. He's not getting it done until the 2020s. Let me see. Dreamwalker said, I think it's interesting how Strange New World seems to be centered on one character for each episode. I agree, even though it always swings back to Pike and his situation, because even with this, you can get this God complex, and I know we're going to get into it a little bit more later, but you can get this God complex because you can change the trajectory of planets' development with just one move from the starship. So when he keeps getting offered, hey, there might be an ability for you to change the trajectory of your fate. But I think he is finding out that's a lot easier said than done. Clarence said, so it could be that since the original papers and documentation is from the 90s, it's remembered as being from the 90s. You said it more concisely than I could have said it. 100% agree, Dreamwalker. Yes, we get a focus on a character, a focal character, and then we get, Pike getting trying to understand what he's going through a little bit more. Hey, Lysandra. She says, hello, everyone. Hope everyone is having an amazing day. So far, so good for me. As long as we don't get no more bad news, I can't take, what is it from The Wiz? Don't nobody bring me no bad news. Clarence says Pike is for the people. Remember, his first day on the bridge of Disco, he got a roll check. And we are seeing here, he has already remembered the names of the people he has saved. Yes, knows them all. We're going to get into them just a little bit more later as well. But yes, he knows them all. And putting a face to those names like he did at the end of this episode could very well make him not even attempt to change his fate. But a little part of me says that everybody is telling him that he could change his fate. Maybe you won't have to. This doesn't have to be how it ends for you. That he might think about it and then pull back on it, like, nope, this is my fate. This is just what it is. But I'm sure we're gonna get into far more of that as the season moves on. So yeah, Naoda, Uhura, and other members of the crew are having dinner in Pike's quarters. He's cooking for him, but this situation was for her to explain or to tell her story. So her story is, I don't know for sure if Starfleet is where I want to be. She's so good at what she does that she beat out thousands of people who really knew where they wanted to be. And for her to say, I'm not sure this is where I want to be, it is kind of taking everybody aback. And even Spock says, make your mind up soon, because you're in a spot that somebody really wants to be in, and you're not sure that this is what you want. Let me pick up Clarence. Spock. Oh, he's saying Spock said you accept it. Yeah. Una says you can change it. Indicative of their characters. We got that type of dynamic with Spock and Una that we had with Spock and McCoy, being different sides of Kirk's. I guess the different aspects of his command were echoed by Spock and McCoy. We're seeing that for Pike with Spock and Una. We're going to actually, I believe we're going to see huge differences in the way that the way that Kirk would have swung and the way that Pike is going to swing. But yes, that's a good point. They are two sides of the same coin, and that coin is Pike. So Uhura is basically, she's had a tragic life. She's lost pretty much everyone she's loved. Her parents, her brother, and then her grandmother was in Starfleet, so she feels like, okay, well, she got her stuff together by being in Starfleet, so maybe I'll get myself together by being in Starfleet. Whereas other people come to Starfleet knowing that they are 100% committed to this life. So Uhura is like, I'm still trying to figure it out, and I get it. Now, Dreamwalker made a very good observation over in the Discord, and I say it every week. If you are not part of the Discord, you need to be, because he is he made this point. He said, did any of you feel that Uhura's story about not being sure she wants to remain in Starfleet had parallels with Nichelle Nichols, who was the original series Uhura, her own history of acting in Star Trek? She had considered leaving and becoming known for other things, but she was ultimately persuaded that she had a purpose in staying. If you are not sure what Dreamwalker was alluding to there, Martin Luther King Jr. had a sit down with Nichelle Nichols and told her the importance of her character, that her character gives people hope, because not only was she an African American woman on the bridge of a starship of a major show. What's up, Davina? Not only was she a member of the bridge on a major show, she's a woman. So she's Black and a woman. He said, Martin Luther King Jr., he said that he sat down with his kids and watched Star Trek. It was part of their family television time. And he knows what it meant to his children, specifically his daughters. He spoke with Nichelle Nichols. She was going to quit because a lot of the racism was a bit too much on the show. But she realized that this was her part of the civil rights movement. This was her doing her part to make a change, to exact change. And I thought that was a beautiful sentiment that Dreamwalker came up with. So thanks for that, sir, because I did not look at it that way at first. But once you did, you can't unsee it. Once he told me that, I could not unsee it. It was a very good parallel. Very good parallel. Um, oh, Davina says she just saw Nichelle Nichols' story the other day about her son and her agent, and they've got a mess going on. And I really am heartbroken that her later years that this type of drama is surrounding her. But they cannot. No one can take away what she brought as far as being a hero to young Black girls, because I didn't think of it that way. By the time I came around, we had a few more rights than they did in the 60s. But I did look at her as like, wow, she could do it. I can do it. She could do it. I can do it. And it is. It's very sad, very sad. But this young Celia Gooding, oh nope, I didn't got to the wrong thing. Oh, thank you, hon. Thank you. Appreciate it. We met Himmer. We got to meet Himmer. And Himmer, the actor who plays Himmer, is Bruce Horak. Now, Bruce Horak is legally blind. So he's not just play acting that he can't see. He has really lost 90% of his vision. So he's seeing at about a 10% level. It's like shadows. I really relate to that because I have very poor vision. And it might be something as I get older, the vision weakens. But he is probably about, he's as close to blind as you're going to get without being blind. Wearing those types of colored contacts, or those contacts that are those special, make your eyes white, for instance, those would damage his eyes even more. So instead of using contact lenses and risking what remains of his vision, Strange New Worlds post-production team used VFX to modify his eyes to the milky white color of the Enars. So I thought that was a nice touch, especially since I know that those colored contacts and the such can be very damaging to your eyes. Yes, Dreamwalker. He is a branch of the Andorians. The Anars are a relative. They are blind, and their skin, they are like kind of albino, and they could possibly be telepathic. You will see, and I forgot the name of the episode that we were introduced to them in from Star Trek Enterprise. They're part of that. Their species was introduced there in that one episode where they were using them as like remote controls to telepathically control, I believe it was a ship. Can't remember. I'm gonna figure out what that episode was, Dreamwalker. So maybe that's something we can watch and talk about as well. Yeah, that Anar reference. Yeah. It was like he was they literally, and I can't remember what race it was that was using them as like a remote control. That was a pretty decent episode, though. I did like it. I'm gonna figure out what the name of the episode was, and if you're in the Discord like Clarence and Dreamwalker, you'll see it when I put it there. So we have Uhura. Uhura told us a lot about her backstory. We got to know her a little bit better. One thing that I didn't know about, gosh, what is her name? Celia Rose Gooding. One thing I didn't know about her is that she is a Grammy award-winning singer, and she has done Broadway shows and the such. The girl got pipes. The girl can sing. I don't know. Duh. Thank you, Clarence. The name of the episode is the Anar. Thank you, Clarence. In this episode 4, I'm sorry, it's season 4, episode 14 of Enterprise. I love that episode, and we'll watch it and talk about it a little bit. Why won't we? Yeah. But yeah, so that was the introduction, my first introduction to those characters. And I know I can't say for sure that they haven't shown up somewhere else, but I know that's where I first remember them. But yeah, I talked about Celia Rose Gooding. The girl can sing. Lord have mercy. Sang, girl. Then we are finding out that the Enterprise crew see a planet, not a planet. They see a comet that is set on a course. If it continues on its course, it's going to kill all the inhabitants of this desolate type of planets. Yeah, it would have been easy if I would have just looked. Dreamwalker, I would have easily spotted the Anar. Right. Oh gosh. So yeah, the comet was set on a course to destroy this planet, and it's got a force field that is keeping the Enterprise from kind of just blowing it to pieces. And they decide, okay, well, let's go on the surface of this comet, because I don't know what is this? Why would a comet have a force field? So we're gonna go down there. We're gonna go down there and see. So Uhura learned at the captain's dinner. There you go. Grammy for Best Musical Theater Album, A Jagged Little Pill. You said, why does he look like a relative of E.T.? Well, you think about this. What is E.T.? E.T. was extraterrestrial. And that is exactly what this being is to us. And he's probably looking at Pike the exact same way we look at them. Like, what the hell is this ugly thing? Because to this species, everything should look like them, just like we feel like everything should look like us. So that character that Pike is talking to is a shepherd. He is part of a race or a set of beings who watch over this comet. And if you mess with this comet, they're going to mess with you. They have advanced weaponry. They are far more advanced and far more spacefaring than we are at this period in history. Because let me see now, I had it over here. I got it in my notes that this episode takes place on Stardate 2912.4. So that's pretty early in Star Trek history. By the time we get to Star Trek The Next Generation and going forward, we're getting into the 7,000s, the four, there's big numbers. And this episode is taking place on Stardate 2912. Put it like this: humanity just started getting out into space, maybe over the last 100 or so years. Now, Clarence says, I kind of loved how this seemed to be a very believable all CG character, either that or one person in front of a green screen. Yeah, it looks good. The cinematography is just awesome. Everything, and I mean it, like, I haven't seen a special effect in this series that I have not liked. I know it's only been 2 episodes, but they have put so much into making this a beautiful series, not just something that we can wrap our minds around as Star Trek fans. Anybody can get into this. It is such a beautifully shot series so far. Okay, so the shepherds, Dreamwalker is saying, the shepherds saying this was one of the last seeds, or whatever they called them, implies that there's at least one more. And Clarence is in agreement, saying that I think we'll see them again. I agree. I think we're going to see them again. They would not have introduced this egg, because I'm like, what is what is the egg? What is the egg? What's in it? What is incubating inside this comet? I am interested in seeing. So yes, I think so too, guys. Let me see. Now Uhura joins a team that transports to the comet surface and discovers that it responds to music. Now at first we have to go through that's hey Clarence, you thinking like I'm thinking. That's what I was gonna get to all the way. Remember, I kept saying we're gonna come back to it because we got some. You just said it. This is a story of the fate of the people, and they changed the fate of those people as compared to Pike's fate. And he is getting in one ear, accepted, in another ear, he's getting change it. And we're seeing that the first inkling that he might try to change it by him looking for those cadets, the people that he saves in 10 years. Now, as of right now, they're children and he sees them, but he now knows that each one of those children exists and that the 9 times out of 10, they're coming to Starfleet. And if they come to Starfleet, his fate is sealed. But so, yes, I'm a complete agreement with that too, Clarence. Let's see. So now we're going on this planet. Now I got a picture here of Kirk from the original series with his biosuit. Then we got Burnham with her biosuit, and we are seeing the evolution of these biosuits because now they have your the colors of your department. So this revamp says it has that Y-shaped panel and it evokes the shape of the under helmet components. So the stuff that was under the helmet, I'm pointing at it like y'all can see. The stuff the stuff that was under the helmet of Spock's stuff suit in the first picture, now that has your color of your department. I thought that was a nice touch. And the first time we saw this suit was in the Tholian Web, I think. So yeah, but now we're seeing the evolution of the suit, and I think that they're doing a good job of keeping it related. At least it looks very similar to what Kirk and crew wore in that episode of Tholian Web. Dreamwalker said, imagine the people on that planet telling their grandchildren, when I was a kid, all we had was desert. You youngins have it so easy. And Grandma, that can't really be true. Yeah, wait till I tell my grandchild that we grew up without the internet. Didn't get the internet till I was in my late 20s. So, yep, this is exactly the way kids would look at it. It's like, oh my goodness, y'all had it real hard. We was talking today about and I know I'm getting off on a tangent. We were talking today about how there is a shortage on not breast milk. Gosh, I keep saying breast milk. There's a shortage on formula in the United States. So baby formula, people are struggling to find it. The shelves are empty, picked dry, and people are driving hours. People are driving hours to get formula. And then we were talking I'm like, this is probably the best time for women to breastfeed. I mean, let's just go back to the way things were before we had formula. Now, I breastfed for a while with my son, but, I didn't stick through for the whole first year. I think it's a good idea. I know y'all really didn't want to hear about that, but here we are. So, Dreamwalker said he got the internet at age 8. I think my son might have been 4. Might have been might have been 3 or 4 when we were old, when he was getting the internet. And I think at that point he was understanding the whole thing far better than I did. And I still don't understand. So you guys have had it easy. We actually had to learn the Dewey Decimal System to look things up and find information. But that's a whole nother story for another day. I'm gonna go on and move on to these to the next slide. Clara said he was 18. You were a youngin too. I mean, you were older, but you were young. You know, older but young. Yeah. So by the time you got it, Clarence, you was already out of high school. At least you had it when you went to college. Oh gosh. But yeah, I thought this was a beautiful shot here with the ship and that shepherd ship. Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot. And I'm skipping around. I need to talk about Uhura and Spock's little duet that was about to get on Clarence's nerves. uh I didn't mind it. And I know that Clarence, you said you didn't mind it so much when they made it, when they compared mathematics to music. I thought that was a very good comparison because they are musical notes is just mathematics. And in fact, a lot of what we see in front of us is just math. Universal language. I think it's beautiful, but music is right there with it. Math and music are both universal languages, and I think this was a very good way to make connections. So Clara said, "Yeah, knowing the history of Uhura and the explanation won them over." So yeah, I thought so too. I thought that was a good reference. So she finds out that it responds to music, but they did not do the easy cheesy thing, which is make the song that she had been singing the whole day, make that to be the actual music, that only thing that can open it. No, what she found out is that she hums anyway. She sings while she's working anyway. This was just something that she was doing that actually worked. And then they used different musical notes, her and Spock together. They used different musical notes to communicate with this egg. So I thought that was cute. Let's see. So the starship of shepherds, they are like, okay, that's our little, I don't know if it's Manit is Mahanit is it's what it's protecting. The shepherds are protecting Mahanit, and Mahanit is the egg inside the comet, I suppose. And they are saying, hey, don't mess with this comet. You shouldn't have sent your people down there. You have desecrated this comet, basically. And Pike now is like these religious zealots, blah, blah, blah. You know, he's particularly persuaded by them that this comet is anything special. He knows that, hey, if we don't do something, it's going to hit this planet. But the people, the shepherds who are watching over it are like, oh, no, 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 no. If it hits this planet, it was supposed to hit this planet. Mahanit knows exactly what he's doing. Do not F with Mahanit. So the Enterprise decides to be sneaky, and they do some stuff that we've seen happen in another big sci-fi franchise that people know, which is we saw Spock go out in a shuttle, the shuttle Galileo? Yeah, that was the shuttle that he used to hide underneath this comet. And we've seen that happen in Star Wars, where I think it was not Boba Fett, Boba Fett's daddy, could have been Boba Fett. One of the Fetts would do that, hide, take their ship and hide in the debris and then pop out on your ass. So so that is what happened. Spock took this shuttle, hid underneath some debris, and poof, popped out on him. Knocked the comet off course. And in doing so, the comet began to release water vapor into the atmosphere. And guess what that did? That improved the quality of life of these people on this planet. So the people are no longer going to be in a desert, kind of desolate Wasteland, Clarence is telling me that Han Solo did it too, and that might be who the heck I'm thinking about, Clarence. It might not have had nothing to do with no Boba Fett or Jango Fett or no Fett. So thank you. It might have just been Han Solo that I'm thinking about. But yeah, so now it's going to improve the conditions for life on this planet. These people are about to start. They're about to start developing beyond where they are right now, which are huts in a desert type planet. Now they have the potential for agriculture, and from there, you just strategically move up in as far as evolution is concerned. So I thought it was beautiful. Say when it rains 10 days in a row, they might not be so sure it's a blessing, Dreamwalker. I can agree with that. But and it might be a while before they see the benefits of all of this water, but they will eventually see the benefits of it, and they will start to evolve. And I really hope that when we see the Mahanit again and the shepherds, because we know we're gonna see them again, like Clarence and Dreamwalker said, I hope that we do get some kind of understanding of what happened down on that planet. Hey there, Angus. Angus said, I'm glad they didn't directly interact with the primitives. Yes, I am so glad. Now, it was one thing. The one thing that I didn't particularly like was Spock coming back to that joke where he was talking about sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying or something like that. Sometimes things go so badly that you just have to laugh. That's what he said. So I didn't like the fact that he was laughing, but I was corrected. And I can't remember who I watched. I'm going to tell you guys something that I rarely say out loud because why should I have to? The Cage. Now, when I was a little kid, um, they didn't play the episodes in order all the time. They just played them all over the place. So whatever was on is what I watched. But let me tell you, when they decided to play The Cage, I didn't like that. I didn't like that episode because that Spock was not the same as the Spock that I had gotten used to over all the rest of the episodes. So the fact that he's laughing because things went so badly means that he's still kind of that Spock from The Cage. He hasn't yet evolved into the Spock that I began to know and love when he hooked up with Kirk. Clarence said Disco episode 1, Burnham and Giorgio were attempting to provide water, on a desert planet. Loved Pike saying that General Order 1 doesn't mean we can't help people. Yes. Yes, Clarence. I think we'll see Spock become far more Vulcan because if you saw The Cage, and I know all of us have, that was a whole different Spock. That was a Spock who needed to arch his eyebrows. That was a Spock who had a lot of emotion. So, and at first I was looking at it like Ethan Peck is holding back or stifling smiles or laughter, but that I'm starting to understand is part of the character. It is part of who Spock is. He is struggling to suppress his emotions because Ethan Peck walks around with a smirk on his face quite a bit of the time. It's not like a full-on laugh or a full-on smile, but it's that smirk. There's a smile behind his eyes a lot. And once you think about it in terms of in The Cage, he wasn't quite 100% Vulcan. Now I appreciate what they're doing with this character. So yes, I agree, Clarence. And then Angus says, Vulcans feel intense emotions all the time, every minute of the day. So if his iron discipline slips now and then, it's fine. But what I'm saying is as far as the Spock when we gets with Kirk, By that time, he has learned to stifle it a little bit more. We've seen him even have emotion during the original series run. So we know that he is fully capable of showing emotions. It is just not the behavior of Vulcans. They try very hard to suppress it because when they give in to their emotions, they are fearing that they'll give in to the primitive side of their species. Yeah. So I think let's finish it. Now Uhura decodes that music that she did. And I also like that she wasn't able to do all this shit in like 5 minutes. I really like that it took a little while for her to decode things. They had gotten far enough away from this planet before she realized, hey, the comet was telling us basically that it expected this interference and this was more than just a coincidence. This was preordained. This was predestination, I think. And yeah, so Pike was like, okay, so this comet and the fate of that planet was not just a coincidence. Now, I saw something about my fate, and maybe that wasn't a coincidence. So he considers the lives of the cadets that he is destined to save in the future. And that's him sitting there. He's pondering. Let me make it bigger because yeah, he's sitting there, he's looking up at the screen and pondering what what he should do with the information of knowing that these kids that he's looking at on this screen are going to be in Starfleet at some point, and he may be forced to make a decision. He's not going to be forced because knowing Pike, we know that he's going to make the decision. It's just like Clarence said up in the comments a bit. He's for the people. So if he has to make a sacrifice so that these kids, because they'll be children to him, so that these kids can live, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. Now, Angus said, alien pollen from that alien flower of unusual size. And he was saying to Uhura for about 2 minutes, music, before she said the word, before the music, before she made the realization that it was music. And Angus said, if this is a Greek tragedy, then the act of him following their lives will get noticed and someone will assign them to his ships because of it. And yeah, these kids ain't thinking about no Starfleet yet. It's just like it's really a weird what comes first, the chicken or the egg situation. Yeah. Dreamwalker says, how many years do we think that Strange New Worlds will go on? Can we actually reach the cage? But we're beyond the cage now, aren't we? We're beyond the cage. So there was the cage, and then there was Discovery season 2, and then there was this. At least that's what I think. Now, if I'm wrong, correct me. What we need to figure out what we're going to, if we're going to reach, um, yeah, is the menagerie. Yeah. Clarence says, I think they'll skip around. We're well past the cage. So yeah, I think so too. If I'm understanding it correctly, and I trust that Clarence and I both wouldn't have gotten that wrong. But yeah, I think the menagerie episode, or let's see, Talos 4 is mentioned in Disco season 2, and Angus also says we're beyond the cage. The menagerie is still 10 years off. Yep, that's the one that Dreamwalker was talking about, the menagerie. So yeah, I think. Do we think that we'll get that far? I don't think we'll get that far because then we'll be moving into Kirk taking over the Enterprise, which I mean we might do. We might do. But yeah, I think we might see the situation that that made that episode necessary, the menagerie. We'll see what happened to Pike. That should be pretty much how things end, because then we'll be going into Kirk's run of being the captain of the Enterprise. Reinhardt, what's going on, sir? Welcome to the party. Oh, Dreamwalker. I know. Nah, I get it now. What you meant. You meant a menagerie. I get you. Sam Kirk, thoughts? Give him something to do. Give him something to do. That's all. I like Sam Kirk, and I think I misspoke last week, and ain't none of y'all jerks correct me when I said that was the father. That's actually the brother of Kirk. And I said it was the father. We saw Sam Kirk in that one episode where those beings were taking over people's bodies or brains or something on a planet. So we saw that Sam, that's spoiler alert. That's the episode that Sam Kirk dies in. So we got a lot of Sam Kirk story that can be told. Now, so far, I just want you to give him something to do. Don't just have him there because his last name is Kirk or because he has a pretty face. Give him some things to do. And he did do a little bit before he got buzzed by this egg in this episode. I like him so far. Reinhardt said, but we know we're going to see Kirk next year. Yeah, you're going to see James T. Kirk. But right now, we got his brother, Sam. See, you said y'all having porn stash envy? Because I call those little mustaches like that, those is porn stashes. So mustache envy. Yeah, I guess. Dreamwalker said, yeah, that's what I mean. The episode that shows what happened to Pike, the menagerie. Yep. Reinhardt said, that's why he's got the mustache, Tasha. Remember, it was William Shatner playing the brother with a mustache on. And that's what I was trying to see. So the first episode, I couldn't quite get a good look at him because I didn't have, I've told y'all. But I was trying to see if that was just Paul Wesley with a mustache on. It wasn't. Claire said, wait, what? When does he die? I forgot about that. Yeah, he's dead. Dead as a doorknob. He died in pretty, I can't think of the name of the episode. I'm going to have to look it up. Somebody is going to find it before me. And I'm going to wish that I had looked this up beforehand. I just didn't know that nobody else. I remember him dying. And that little creature that killed him, they went down to the planet and all of these people had their bodies had been taken over. It was like a body snatcher. Their bodies had been taken over by these creatures. So yeah. Angus said he was the away mission canary. Yes. Lucky he wasn't wearing a red shirt. Absolutely. Operation Annihilation. Told you one of you guys were going to know it before I did. That is the name of that episode. Operation Annihilation in the original series. Look it up and check that episode out. That's where Sam got killed rather unceremoniously and quickly. But yeah. Reinhardt said, you know what would be cool? If one of those kids turned out to be an admiral we had seen on The Next Generation. I know I'm goofy, but I like to tie stuff together. I need to look at the names and then go back into Star Trek history and see who is who. And Clarence says, oh, the virus creatures. Yes. Yes. So let me look at this and see if I can. Let me see if I can see any names that we recognize. I see, oh Lord, Dusty Swinder, Tekiel Dawn, Mulid Al-Kazar, Yuto Hoshide, and Andrea Lopez. Those are the names that I see, and I don't recognize them. But again, I can plug it into a database and one of the wikis and see if we can come up with if whether or not we have any information about these particular kids. Angus said it's one of his favorite episodes, Operation Annihilation. Clarence says he wants to rewatch that one. He remembers it being good, but it's been a while since he's seen it. I need to watch that again too. It's been a very long time, I think, since I've seen it. I don't remember. Sometimes I'm watching stuff and I ain't watching it. It's watching me. So I might have played that episode last week. Who knows? But I do know that that these cadets that Pike ends up taking a look at, they're all little babies now. They 10 years old. We got a couple of them that are 9, a couple of them that are 10. So yeah, he knows that in 10 years they're going to be just the right age to enter Starfleet, and he is going to be put in the position to save them. And just like Clarence said, because in the beginning, I'm like, oh, I've gotten so attached to Pike. Is there going to be some way that we can avoid this fate? And Clarence said, but he ended up happy, and that is, I guess, that's going to have to be enough. I don't think, in my opinion, that they should change his fate, even though I would love to see them change his fate, and that it would F up and lead to a whole different timeline where they could start a whole nother show. But that's asking for a bit much. That's a huge change to what we have become accustomed to as canon. And that's one thing that I think we should leave alone, is Pike's fate. He said, is it, Reinhardt said, is it just me? But sometimes they like to tease us. I think, yeah, I think so. But that's the part of the fun for the showrunners, is knowing that we are going to take things to another conclusion, and sometimes it is downright. I guess it's not funny, the games that they play. Duquesne from Picard, that shit wasn't funny. Why y'all bring that man back and then make him a whole different character, and he was a needless character? Why y'all do that? So that bothered me. But these things, planting these little, when he says, call Kirk up to the bridge, and I'm like, what? And we find out that it's Sam Kirk. So yeah, they tease us sometimes. But Clarence says this show is going to have one hell of a finale. I am in complete agreement. We done jumped all the way from episode 2 to the finale, but we know that based upon the storytelling we're getting and the fact that each one of these little stories is self-contained, but that it has that little thread that we could pull to the next logical conclusion with it. I like this, because it doesn't make me nervous and it doesn't give me anxiety. It's a fun, easy, relaxing watch, and they have been doing a heck of a job making it interesting. Angus said the whole show is pitting fate against free will. The thing is, sometimes fate makes a good case and free will submits. And I can agree with that this seems to be, it seems to be where they're going, because episode 1 was even of fate versus free will. We could leave this planet. We could, this planet that we influenced, in fact, we could leave them to their own devices. But I could also show them, you guys could do things the way you're doing it. Keep going on if you want to, but this is what happened to us, and it's going to be worse here, because y'all got far more warp weapons. All we had was regular old nukes. Y'all got something more powerful. So you can do it your way, and I can show you what your fate will be, or you can change. So yeah, I agree with you, Angus. Clarence said, do we think there will be another event that causes technology to regress? Or have we just become mature enough to just realize it's been 60 years? This girl got so much flack for the tech. I don't I hope that people stop being like that. Because the technology is indicative of the times that we're in. If they had the tech to do the things back then in the 60s that we have now, they would have done it the way we're doing it now. It's just, things evolve. And some of the stuff that we saw in that original series made technology evolve, created the tech that we have today. So thank you for having that rudimentary technology in the 60s. Most of us are mature enough, Clarence, but the mature ones are not the ones that are making the most noise. Never. We are never. I agree with you. It's been 60 years. Shoot. Just let's let it go. Let it go. Angus said Picard had a fair bit of filler in season 2. Yes, it absolutely did. Hey, I'm on TV. You don't want to come over here. What's up?
I was just seeing if you had any dishes to put in the dishwasher.
I think I got a cereal bowl right there. Nope, I'll get it because give me a second, guys. I'm gonna get this bowl right here. Oh, no, I know you usually are pretty put together. They don't need to see you looking. No. Just woke up and shh. Fortunately, I decided to put some pants on today. But what was I saying here? Picard had a fair bit of filler in season 2. Fair bit. It could have been. I think I quoted you last week when I was talking about Picard. Could have been a 2-part episode. It could have been 3 episodes. But okay, if we wanted to stretch it out just a little bit more, it could have been 6 episodes. It did not have to be 10. So I'm in agreement with that, Angus. Reinhardt said, that's the thing about a prequel. A lot of stuff is already predetermined. Yeah, you kind of pigeonholed. You have to end where the other thing begins, Angus said they chose peace. It was the wise choice. Yes, indeed. When you can, when somebody show you a video of where you could end up, if you choose the other thing, it's something wrong with you. But here we are. We don't even need to see a video of where we'll end up. We knew. Look, I'm starting to preach. I don't want to preach. I'm just so upset about the events of this past weekend and how far away we are from being the kind of society that has that kind of hope that we see in Star Trek. Oh gosh. But anywho, Reinhardt said, I got to be honest with you guys. I hope they don't show what happened. I would rather see him hand off the ship to Kirk after he's promoted to fleet captain and then the show ends. I want to see it. I don't have to see it, but I do want to see it. I want to see it because that is the single most selfless act that we will see a captain or a admiral or whomever, do for the rest of Starfleet. We've seen some sacrifices be made, but to know that this is going to happen and to still go through with it, that is on par with, I'm not going to say it, but it is a sacrifice made from love. Put it like that. Oh, and I didn't put that on the screen. I'm going to take a sip. Angus said there was an episode of TOS where Kirk had an emotional AI personality in his quarters. I wish I could remember which episode that was, Angus. Claire said, I just want the TOS computer voice. Now, was that already Maja Barrett? I can't remember. Was that already her voice, or was there a different one before she took over being the voice? Because I wonder if they could have continued to use her voice by like kind of synthesizing some of the things that we know that she has said in the past. You know how they kind of piece things together, and hopefully it just won't sound pieced together. Or am I wishing for too much? I might be wishing for too much. uh, Angus says, I saw a video where a masked reviewer with a voice changer was totally dumping all over Strange New Worlds. Every single scene had something wrong with it. And then I realized that it was merely performative. Yeah, those are people who just want the attention of that really loud group that hates all new Trek. That's who they are catering to, and they know that they're gonna get far more views than I am for talking, just straight up talking about Star Trek and enjoying it. And even when I don't enjoy it, at least have a reasonable and adult discourse about it. Those people know that there are far more people who will listen to them just shit on a show, and they probably are getting paid out their ass, and I get nothing. But I'm going to continue to represent how I really feel about these shows, because if I didn't like them, I wouldn't watch them, except for except for Lower Decks. Now, and the thing is, I didn't hate this past season. It's just when it got super raunchy, because I'm like, why we got to get like, why it's a cartoon, why are we doing this? And then we find out they're gonna make a cartoon version of Married with Children. So I'm like, yep, we're gonna get a whole nother animated series of complete and total raunch. And if it's supposed to be raunchy, I get it. If it's Star Trek, not so much. Reinhardt said, on par with Spock giving his life for the crew of Enterprise. His family, that was a beautiful end, but never mind. They brought him right back in the next movie. But that's another thing. Spock didn't know. Spock did it because it needed to be done, and he loved that crew. But he didn't know, okay, today is the day I die. Today, the day I got to go into this thing. He didn't know that. Every day, Pike just getting back on the Enterprise is one step in the direction to that fate that he saw. So this is a situation where it's almost, forgive me, I know this is going to sound blasphemous, but trust me, I'm not saying that he's the same. I'm saying it is similar. It's almost Christ-like, where where Christ knew the whole time. If you are a believer in that Christianity, Christ knew his entire adult life that he was going to have to die, and how and when, right? But he still did it. And that's Pike. He's still walking the walk that he has to walk, knowing where it ends for him and how it ends for him. And even though in this situation he's not going to die, his life is going to be in irrevocably changed. There we go. Long tour, you always put an O. And I want to include you in the conversation, but I don't know what that means, darling. So if you want me to read your comments, put a little bit more. So because you're here quite a bit, Long Tour, and I appreciate you. Thank you. Reinhardt said, oh, we're going through the same thing right now with Halo. Way worse than what Strange New Worlds is going through, except there are people who are actually sending death threats to people over a TV. Angus said, TOS, tomorrow is yesterday. Apparently, that's the episode where his computer calls him dear. I remember that. Where his computer calls him dear and gets super pouty when he places an order to have her removed. I remember that episode now. uh, Angus also says Pike tried to avoid his fate by staying in Montana, but he just couldn't do it. He got ordered, but he could have stopped because Admiral April. Admiral April gave him an option. He was like, "Are you gonna stay in the seat?" And he said, yeah. So he could have went on back to Montana and waited for his captain friend to come on back so they could finish, what they started in episode 1 as they watched the day the earth stood still. Yes, the earth stood still when they was getting it on. Clara said if he knew he'd eventually end back up on Talos, then he might not feel as bad about it. Yeah, he don't know that part. So this is like truly him making a selfless, pretty much a sacrifice. If he on the ship, he know he gonna live for 10 years at the absolute least, and then pain, and lots of it. So yeah. And what you talking about, Angus? Couldn't and Oh, he couldn't do it. I see what you're saying. Reinhardt, I just want to let everybody know that Clarence Brown is off the chain. Man, discussing Trek has been killing it. Yeah, I've been liking. I'm gonna have to come back and chat with him. But I'd love to just be in the audience listening. So I am gonna come back and chat though. Y'all ain't got rid of my ass yet. I've been going through some little cuckoo stuff over here, but I'm gonna be back, man. Shit, don't think I'm through. And I'm trying to think. There was something that I disagreed. I'm like yelling, Clarence, like you can hear me. It was something that I didn't like that you said last week, and I can't even remember which show you were talking about. Was it Picard or was it Strange New Worlds? But anywho, Clara said thanks, Reinhardt, and I don't know what Reinhardt is me tooing. It's a movement. Oh, with open arms, my brothers, my pod brothers. Yeah. So is there anything else that we got to discuss about this episode or anything else Star Trek related? Tell me what we got. What we got? Anybody? Now know that I got a niece that's about to graduate. She's going from the 8th grade into high school. So yay her. Then I've got a nephew about to graduate. He's putting his feet into the real world, and he is changing his mind about what college he wants to go to. Doctor Who news. We can get to that in just a second. So I'm gonna be going home. I'm saying all that because I'm gonna be going home at the beginning of June. Then I got an uncle, one of my uncles from Mississippi. He got he was taking a connecting flight from Louisiana to what the heck is to Hawaii. He and his wife were on their way for a 50th anniversary trip, and he fell and broke his hip. But he did that right here in Houston. So when I get more information on what's going on with him, I might be MIA too, because there's no other real family like that in Houston. At least on my mama's side of the family, there's nobody else here. I'm here. So I gotta go and check on my family. And I'm saying that because I may be in and out. But yeah, my uncle hurt himself, and I'm the only one in Houston, so I'm gonna look after the elders. Let's see. Now let's go back to Doctor Who news because we talked about it on Saturday, but was it Saturday? Last week Wednesday. I think I talked about it last week Wednesday about Nkuti Gatwa. Is there any new Doctor Who news besides that? Let's see. I want to make sure I ain't leaving nothing out. It says, now look, I only use certain sources. Oh, no, who is it? Clarence, the first transgender actor live action. I see well I'm seeing that the BBC.com is reporting. So I'll talk about that. That the BBC.com is reporting that Doctor Who, David Tennant, who was my favorite doctor, by the way, did y'all know that? Have I said that to y'all before? I love David Tennant, and right behind him was Matt Smith. I loved both of them in the role of the Doctor. So there's that. But I'm seeing here, and I'm gonna share. Oh, not that. I'm gonna share that they are saying that David Tennant and Catherine Tate are to return to Doctor Who. The BBC has confirmed the pair are currently filming for the sci-fi show's 60th anniversary, which it will celebrate in 2023. And David Tennant played the 10th Doctor, my favorite Doctor, on the time travel drama from 2005 to 2010, while Tate played his companion, Donna Noble. That news came a week after the BBC announced that sex education star Nkuti Gatwa will be the next Doctor. Tennant and Tate's involvement means they'll be reunited with returning Doctor Who head writer Russell T. Davies. Davies, who was in charge of Doctor Who, and I think people were so excited. The real Doctor Who diehards were really excited when they found out that Russell T. Davies was coming back. So he was in charge of Doctor Who when it was successfully revived in 2005, left at the same time as Tennant, and their last episode together was broadcast in 2010. Tennant has briefly returned before, joining then Dr. Matt Smith for the program's 50th anniversary in 2013. We got us a nice picture of Nkuti Gatwa. It's not clear at this stage whether this return will be a similar one, with Tennant and Tate appearing alongside Gatwa. Okay, so we have caught up on that part of the Doctor Who news. We got Reinhardt agreeing that he wanted some Doctor Who news. We've got Angus saying that, let me see, stop sharing. We have Angus saying that I hope that Strange New Worlds continues to focus on character backgrounds. I want to know more about La'an. We also, well, you know what? If you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. I almost hate that I know. So I'm going to hush. But we are already getting that there is far more of a focus on the ensemble and not just on, we're going to talk about these 5 people. No, we're going to talk about this entire crew. We're going to get to know little things about each one of these characters every week, it seems like. We got a little bit of a cursory introduction to Nurse Chapel last week. We got an introduction to we got some La'an background a little bit, and we also got a background on Uhura this week. Over the course of this season, we'll probably get a focal point on each one of those bridge crews. I am very interested in Ortega's. I like her. I also, for the people who were doing all that fussing, saying that this entire bridge crew were women, I saw a man on the bridge. I don't remember if he was a named character or not, but I did see a man on the bridge. So hush your mouth, hush, because you sound stupid. Hush your mouth. So I saw that. Clarence is in agreement. He loves La'an as well. Angus says he wants to see Gorn. Now, I thought that our first introduction to the Gorn was in the original series. I could be wrong. I ain't gonna hold it against them. I'm just saying. I didn't think that the Gorn were a thing until the original series when Kirk fought them. But they always allude to the Gorn, but no show has shown them again. Have you noticed that? But they're always alluded to. Reinhardt is just now realizing that Angus is in the building, right? Angus been here. Angus and Reinhardt. Now, who is the first transgender actor live action? Let me see. I'm gonna have to look her up or look them up. Doctor Who transgender. In 2015, Bethany Black became the first openly transgender person to be cast in an episode of Doctor Who Series 9's Sleep No More. She played the role of 474. Is that I wanted to, let me see. Oh, okay. I see it now. Yasmin Finney. Pretty. This is in from the Hollywood Reporter. I'm going to go ahead and report this part of it. 18-year-old. Let's see. 18-year-old Yasmin Finney joins BBC Doctor Who as Rose. The 18-year-old plays Elle Argent in Netflix's LGBTQ drama Heartstopper and boards the cult sci-fi series. So, okay. Heartstopper star Yasmin Finney has joined BBC's iconic Doctor Who drama to play the character of Rose. Life on Doctor Who gets brighter and wilder. How can there be another Rose? You'll find out in 2023, but it's an absolute joy to welcome Yasmin to the Doctor Who set. We all fell in love with her in Heartstopper, one of those shows which changes the world, and now Yasmin can change the Whoniverse. Russell T Davies, Doctor Who's showrunner, said that in a statement on Monday. Finney, who is also a transgender actress, boards the popular series after Sex Education's Nkudi Gatwa was named as the new Doctor in the BBC series. Gatwa replaces the outgoing Time Lord Jodie Whittaker, who revealed she was leaving last year. Gatwa is the first Black actor to play the iconic figure. Now, Finney is currently shooting scenes as Rose to air in 2023 as Doctor Who celebrates its 60th anniversary. If anyone would have told 8-year-old Yasmin that one day, for one day that she'd be part of this iconic show, I would have never in a million years believed them. This show has a place in so many people's hearts, so to be seen as a trans actress by the legend himself, Russell, has not only made my year, it's made my life. I cannot wait to begin this journey and for all of you to see how Rose blossoms. Get ready, Finney said in her own statement. That is what's up. And okay, y'all over here talking, y'all side chatting over here in the in the Discord. I got to get over here and make sure you guys are not putting something up there that I need to. This was Star Trek, the Gorn, the lovely Gorn. Okay, wait a minute. Yes, there he is. There him is, as the babies say. There him is. Yeah, the Gorn. Okay. Oh, I forgot him. Yeah, you're correct. Archer fought the Gorn too. Forgot about that. Angus said he wanted an Idris Elba Doctor. I wouldn't have been against it. But you know what? I'll take what we got because I hadn't been watching it, and Clarence told me I wasn't missing much. So I'm going to watch the ones that Clarence has suggested to me, and then maybe get back involved with Nkuti Gadwa, especially since I know that my fave is coming back, even if it's just for an episode or two. Um, yeah, Clarence playing a character called Rose. It makes me feel like, from reading that little piece that Russell Davies said, it makes me feel like she is meant to be the same Rose. So that is interesting. Yasmin Finney, yes. Uh, yes, Clarence, you all on it. I could have just scrolled through the comments instead of. Um, Reinhardt said, "Of course, the haters are out there, but we knew that was coming." Yeah. Um, Clarence said, "Yeah, I just hope the stories are good, and that's all. Yep, if it's good stories, who cares what everybody else is saying? We get to enjoy these good stories that are being told. If nobody else wants to watch it, and get this good sci-fi, time travel, wibbly wobbly stuff, we'll appreciate it, right?" Yeah. So Clarence said, "We hope the stories are good. Then there's nothing to say. A lot of folks are finna be mad. They fits to be mad." Angus said, "It was Tennant that spoke that line, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey." Yeah. Davies was the best showrunner that they've had. You know what? There was like a part, or there was a period of time that I didn't pay attention to who was the showrunners. So now that, of course, I'm doing this and I'm paying closer attention to the behind the scenes stuff, uh, I do realize that Davies would, if I had to choose, was my favorite showrunner as well, because I liked what was the Eccleston? I can't remember his first name. I liked him as the doctor. I liked the stories that were told. I liked David Tennant as a doctor. I liked the story, and I liked Matt Smith. Uh, Stories got to be a little different, but I was okay with it. But as we moved on, and I mean by moving on, I didn't like the Capaldi version as much. Um, I did watch most of it, many, yeah, almost all of it, but I didn't like him as much as I liked the other three. So there's that. Pattern Ortega's, yes, Clara, she is a favorite. She is, and man, she flew that ship. For that to have been like a big old clumsy ship, she flew that ship and maneuvered it pretty well for it to be not something small and more maneuverable. She made that big old starship do some things. Clarence said they had never seen the Gorn until that iconic episode. Okay, but I forgot about the episode of Enterprise that Archer fought the Gorn in. So here we are. Angus says, so Strange New World said that Uhura was from Kenya, but in TOS, her first language was Swahili, on an East African language. But I looked it up, and there's a tiny bit of Swahili. A tiny bit of Swahili is spoken in Kenya. In fact, she actually made it quite clear that she spoke 22 different dialects from that area, because they speak many tongues. So yeah, I agree. You said, "I'm sorry, as a companion." What did I miss? I missed something. I missed something. It's okay. uh Angus said, "We saw a CGI Gorn in Enterprise for their Mirror Universe episodes." Yes. And Reinhardt is agreeing. The CGI wasn't good. Oh, and Reinhardt says the haters are going to hate. They are. We can't stop them. Shucks. I wish we could. With a snap of my fingers, I wish I was a Q. Instead of my son being named Q, I should be Q. uh, Reinhardt says, "I'm telling you guys, Severance is one of the best shows I've seen in forever. If I had the streaming service it comes on, I give you my password so you can watch it, Tosh." Um, I'm working towards getting Apple. I don't need it, but I do want to watch that show, and I want to watch that Ptolemy Gray show. There are a couple of shows that I want to watch, and when they all finish running, maybe I'll do it and get the free trial and try to just binge everything in 1 week. So that was the Mirror Universe Archer that fought the Gorn. Yes, I remember, but I didn't remember. And I liked the Mirror Universe episodes of Enterprise. I don't know how I didn't remember that, but I did. I did like those episodes, and I did forget. Yes, that's why it's so good to have a think tank. Can't rely on my own messed up memory. Shoot. Yeah, Reinhardt says Apple really does have some good shows. Well, um, like I said, uh, there's a lot to love about these streaming services. You get these, but now I'm starting to get like overwhelmed. And I know, okay, 1 minute we were talking about we are tired of cable, we're cutting the cord, but now I'm like, shit, I just want to plug back in because there are so many streaming services that to watch all the shows that you want to watch, you're spending far more than you probably would have when just getting cable. So now I'm like, okay, like right now, I can't afford another. I can't. I just can't afford another streaming service. So as much as I want to watch other episodes, I can't. Just can't. Gosh, it makes me mad because now it's just too many streaming services, and they're giving you more. It ain't like they stopping. Lord have mercy. Reinhardt said, Tasha, I got something I want all you guys to check. You know how you can go into your Netflix account if you have Netflix and you can check the activity. You should do that. Because I had about 6 unknown devices using my Netflix account. With me, now I don't even have my own. Yeah, Clarence, I'm in agreement. Even though you laughing, I'm agreeing. The key is to watch and drop, and watch, drop. And if a streaming service is consistently good, okay, that's the one you keep in your back pocket. But most of them, they give you an opportunity to be like, I don't want this no more, and I think I should do that. Now, as far as Netflix, like I'm not even on my own Netflix no more. I let it drop because the kids got Netflix, and I'm like, what the hell am I paying my $17 a month for if everybody in the house got a Netflix account? Y'all gonna give me the password? Give me your password. Now, if anybody was riding on my password, they are going to be heartbroken and mistaken if they think they're gonna still get Netflix because it's gone from over here. What you call it? My sister and her children, they were notorious for using my passwords. I don't care about that as long as when it's time for me to watch, I just want it to be able to watch. Now, the only one that they use, I think, of mine now is the Amazon Prime Video. Everything else, my sister got her own little stuff, and I got mine. Or I'm riding on these kids in this house. Lysandra, I ain't know you was gone, girl. Clarence says, back in my internet pirating days. Wait a minute. Me and my friends always said DWD, download, watch, and delete. Oh gosh. I'm too big of a punk to pirate. But I do share passwords every now and then. But we stopped doing the Netflix one when they started talking about, oh, we gonna start cutting people off and doing this and that. I was like, oh no. Because I can't. So yeah, DWD though, that sounds like it. Download, watch, delete. And everybody and the crowd went crazy. Everybody's laughing at that one, Clarence. You knocked that one out the park. Oh gosh. Okay, what other news we got? Back in my internet pirating days, right? Oh gosh. What else we got? Is there anything else that y'all want me to? Days that end in Y. Those was the internet pirating days. They all every day is an internet pirating day. Clarence, Reinhardt said, well, Clarence, unlike you, I can't say I ever broke a law like that. And if I did, I would not say so on the YouTube channel. Don't nobody watch this damn channel with y'all. This is like talking to yourself. Oh gosh. Oh, thank you, Angus. I'm happy to be back. You know, it was a little bit the streaming, and it was a little bit my my mental health. But I wish I had a benefactor buy me a laptop, and that was above and beyond, kind. I don't have people do that for me, That was a big do for me. So yeah. Hey Thomas, it's been a long time, sir. Yeah, and it's my fault too. Sorry. Okay, Thomas. We've been on for a little while, but I'm going to ask you: are you enjoying Strange New Worlds, or are you watching it? Let me know. Yeah. So there was that. There was that. We got somebody who just loved the show enough to help a sister out. And I still think eventually I'm gonna have to go and I'm on a medication and it's helping with the anxiety. So, but I am gonna have to go and find me a little job, right? I'm gonna have to get a job because I got this grandbaby coming. And if y'all don't know, these kids act like they got forever. We only got literally 13 weeks. That's not a long time. You know what I mean? So I'm like, we got to get some stuff going. It's stuff we got to do. Kids think this is a game. Let's see. Reinhardt said, well, please tell them we said thank you because we missed you a lot. I will. Thomas is enjoying Strange New Worlds. Great. I am so glad to hear that because, yeah, it is a fantastic start to a franchise or a series. And I am very, very, very excited to see what they bring us this week. And I'm going to try to get my stuff together and be back on Sundays. Yeah, it's just yesterday got so ugly. It was almost time to go on, and that's when I found out about the doggone shooting at the church. Lysandra said, yes, the baby getting closer and closer. Yes, I almost feel the labor pains myself. And she said she's gonna be here. She's gonna be here, and we are gonna tell these kids exactly what they need to be doing. Give me that baby. You don't know what you're doing. Let me do this. Yeah. The only thing I can't do is feed a baby. She got to breastfeed because we not playing with this milk shortage. That's not what we doing. She was gonna breastfeed anyway. But now we know breastfeeding is not just a choice, it's a necessity because there's a shortage on formula in the whole United States. How the hell that happened? Tell me. Anyway, I don't have anything else. It's been almost 2 hours. It's been an hour 45 minutes. It's been fun. I'm going to come back tomorrow though because Davina, and hopefully she can watch. If not, she can watch the rebroadcast. She wanted me to start talking about some of the characters that we have met thus far in the MCU and some of the characters that are on the horizon that we can see coming. And tomorrow, I think I want to come on and talk about Gore the God Butcher. That'll be the first installment in the MC University. So the Marvel Cinematic University right here on After the Snap. I'm going to share what knowledge I have and the knowledge of all the wikis, and hopefully we can have a very intelligent and fun conversation about those characters. So if you're interested in that, join me here tomorrow. It'll probably be three-ish. That sounds good. Because yeah, and then we can talk for an hour or two about Gore the God Butcher. That is tomorrow's big. Oh, I get sidetracked because I saw that come up on the Discord. The Discord is busy even when we're over here. Everybody is sharing. That was a great fight uh from the Wheel of Time that Angus just shared over on the Discord. That fight from the Wheel of Time, and the mama was in labor while she was fighting. That was dope. That was a dope fight scene. If you don't know what we're talking about, you should be a part of the Discord and you can watch that clip. And maybe it'll make you even want to watch the Wheel of Time. But tomorrow, Gore the God Butcher. That's our introduction. We're going to introduce to him what we know about the comic book version. We also know that the MCU, they take their own liberties. They decide whether or not they are going to stick to comic book lore or if they're going to make changes. And that's their prerogative. What we're going to talk about is what we know about the character from the comics and what we think we're going to see in Thor, Love and Thunder. And there might be some spoilers for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness as well. So, with all that being said, I've had fun with y'all today. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for making this a great conversation. If you were looking for a rating for that Star Trek Strange New Worlds episode, y'all know it was a 5. What y'all thought? It's a 5. It's a perfect episode. We'll talk more about that as the weeks go on. Join me here tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Hopefully, I'll see you. Thanks for being here today. Peace.